Okay, I hope you have some idea, because I have zilch for this intro. I mean, I got a few. You know what I'm saying? So. I am not wearing these. Oh, come on, you'd be so cute, though. Oh, man, what would we even do? I don't know, but you gotta really embody the dog.
Yeah, we just got done watching Cruella. I'm about to meet up with these guys to review. I don't know what to expect, but wish me luck. Okay, bye.
Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Oh, yes! 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 What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Tavern Talk. I am Philip, and joining me this week is Cassidy Kendall. She is a local journalist, or a journalist at a local newspaper, I should say. But thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like coming in to talk Cruella. I'm very interested to hear your perspective on this, and just I guess I should start out by saying that we are talking Cruella this week, and that I was very unsure of what I would be getting into here with Disney selling this villain origin story that is about a lady who essentially, wanted to skin some puppies for a coat. And just like, why are you going to make a movie out of that? What do we need from it? We'll kind of get into more of the details of the story and how they do go about, fashioning a movie around a villain. But yeah, so we just came out of Cruella, and what we kind of start the show off by initial thoughts, initial reaction to the movie. What did you think of Cruella?
Well, first and foremost, it was long.
It was very long.
Very, very long. But I think it needed to be that long.
Okay.
It was 2 hours.
Yeah, it was like 2:15, credits included, so.
But I think for Cruella DeVille, she's one of the more underrated villains in Disney. And so I think we really needed an origin story that gave us that much, you know?
And I guess I should have asked, like, what was your relationship like with the animated, like the 60s animated movie?
Oh, the devil take it, they're mongrels. No spots at all. What a horrid little white rat.
As well as, they made a couple of movies in the 90s with Glenn Close as Cruella.
The devil take it, they're mongrels. No spots at all. What horrible little white rat.
And because as a kid, like, she scared the mess out of me in the animated movie.
Well, as a kid, I was under the impression that 101 Dalmatians was about a dog who gave birth to 100 Dalmatians.
That's a fair point, yeah.
So it wasn't actually until I rewatched it a few weeks ago with my niece that I got more of an idea of what it was about. And Cruella was a lot nastier than I remembered. I also didn't remember that skinning dogs was her thing.
Yeah.
So going into this movie, I was concerned with, it was a dark movie, but thankfully it wasn't dark enough to where she was skinning dogs in it. So thank you, Disney.
Yeah, no, I just remember, and if you watched it recently, you'll remember this, like the part where her eyes start
Swirling.
Yeah. I was just like, I just think of me now as like 5-year-old me and just being like, what has happened? Like, this lady is psycho.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what made me, and I mean, the Glenn Close ones were kind of more campy. As far as I remember, I haven't watched them probably in 20 years since they came out. But I just remember them kind of being more silly. Mm-hmm. Whereas this one, again, it goes back to like, how are they going to do this? Like, what is the tone going to be of this movie about a villain, and specifically about a villain who, whose whole goal is to make a coat out of dogs. Because we've had a lot of these live action Disney remakes lately, and this is more Maleficent, where it's telling the origin story of a villain, or taking one of the animated classics and shifting the perspective, which is what we get here. And so this is kind of a prequel to everything we've seen so far, both the animated movie and the Glenn Close movie. So this is how Cruella became Cruella, and what did you think about how it justified her arc to becoming Cruella DeVille?
So from the time she was born, I was thinking she was going to be, just like a rotten egg.
Yeah.
Like just terrible, because she was terrible in the cartoon movie.
Yeah.
But you see, like, she's not inherently bad. Just kind of like a badass feminist girl in 1964.
Yeah.
And I love her. Like, she's so strong, and but at the same time, she does have this bit of, I don't know, like ickiness about her.
Yeah.
So you can see where she can become this. But as she gets older, you see, she goes through this heartbreak with loss in her life. So you're like, oh, I can kind of see how she becomes Cruella. But at the same time, not a woman who would kill dogs.
That was my struggle too, because I talked about Maleficent a little bit, and was telling you before we started filming that, like, Maleficent really tried to make you feel sympathy for this villain, and I didn't know how they were going to do that with Cruella, given where her end game is. And so I was like, I figured they'd kind of explore the kind of what you were talking about, the nature versus nurture thing, and like, is she just bad from the beginning because of where she comes from, or is it something that she builds along the way because of what happens to her? But also, I liked what you said, because we should mention that Emma Thompson is in this, as well as Emma Stone. Emma Stone's playing Cruella, obviously, but Emma Thompson plays this character who's known as the Baroness, and she's actually Cruella in this movie, if we're being honest.
She is vicious.
She's cool.
When she cut her arm, it was like bleeding a little bit, and she was like, I want this color red.
Yeah. But at the same time, what you were saying about, like, just like this unforgiving feminist, like, just rock star, this is kind of about two just strong-willed women who they're fighting their adversaries, but they're not fighting over like a man or anything. This definitely passes the Bechdel test. But they're fighting over being the best, because neither of them can let anyone else be better than them, especially Emma Thompson's character. And I don't know, I found that pretty refreshing. Also, I just love Emma Thompson in this movie.
She looked amazing. I looked it up after watching that. She's 62.
Is she really?
Yes.
Golly.
And the whole movie, she's doing her 9-minute power naps, and that's what 9-minute power naps do for her. I mean, she looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
I was really, really glad to see her in this.
I loved it, because I don't know that you'd ever get, like, if she got to play actual Cruella de Vil, it'd probably just more so than Emma Stone's getting compared to Glenn Close's portrayal of it. Emma Thompson's would, which would be close because they're both great actresses, but like, it was really nice to see that she got to really play what we expect Cruella to be, while Emma Stone gets to play the arc of how she becomes who we expect her to be. But also, the fashion, like, she looks incredible, and I don't know a whole lot about fashion in general. I'm not in on seasons and where everything goes. I don't know where you stand on that. But the clothes were crazy in this movie, and there's a lot of them. That and the music. Like, what did you think of the use of both of those things to kind of enhance the characters and the story and all that good stuff?
So it was a very beautiful movie.
Yeah.
And I think it was, I don't think whimsical is the right word, but just the setting of everything was so extravagant. And also, this isn't really about the clothes per se, but I was thinking about the dogs in it. So obviously this movie has a lot of dogs in it, but they're CGI dogs. Normally I would hate that, but I feel like because the movie was so beautiful in and of itself, it really flowed well. But to get back to your other question, I think that with the music and the setting, it was honestly like a work of art. Like the music, there was music and like a steady stream throughout the whole movie, and it made the movie. I
was surprised how much, like, how many needle drops there were. It was like every other scene we were getting this huge song that, and even some of them were integrated into the movie. Like, there's one scene where Emma Stone's like walking through the store and is singing, and then the soundtrack comes on and everything. And I did like the music. I thought it might have been a little much at certain points. And I kind of wanted them to use like Emma Thompson's character is introduced to this Doors track, and I was like, oh, that's cool. It's kind of more like traditional rock of that era, the 60s, the 70s and stuff. And I was kind of hoping that Emma Stone, the music behind her character, would be more punk and like the rebellious stuff to kind of the clash of those two. And we should mention this is directed by Craig Gillespie, who made stuff like Lars and the Real Girl and I, Tonya. So this is kind of a turn for him. I mean, he's done a few like live action Disney stuff like $1 Million Arm and Finest Hours, but yeah, he, like you said, there's a scale and a scope to this that I didn't expect it to have, and it feels really big, but at the same time, like there's a lot of handheld camera here, and it feels really personal as well, which brings me to the Horace and Jasper element, which I really enjoyed. It's Joel Fry, who's been in like Yesterday, the movie about with the Beatles songs, and Paul Walter Hauser, who was in I, Tonya, which was a Gillespie movie. But they kind of build up a real relationship between Jasper and Cruella, or Estella, as she's known before she makes the transition there. But no, what did you? I didn't see that coming. Like that was a nice surprise for me.
So watching this, I was really wanting it to align well with the original, like animated, okay. I guess.
Yeah.
But I really liked that they added more character into the two henchmen of the movie. And was I mistaken, or was there like a love interest between Jasper and?
There totally was.
Okay,
I think there
cool.
was. I think there was, but it was weird how they kind of played that, because she
like
kind
family?
Yeah, well, but like near the end, she was pretty upfront about it, and he was still like, you expected him to be like, yeah, I feel that way too, and then he kind of just was like, I don't know, you're getting pretty crazy on me, and so I don't know, but I think it was definitely there. I don't know if they're like planning on sequels and going to explore that more or whatever, because they really do, like, despite me not being able, like, by the end of the movie, me still not being able to say, like, yeah, I can see how she gets to that point of wanting to skin 100 puppies for a coat. Like, I could still see that, like, she's had enough trauma and, like, crazy stuff happen to her, as well as where she actually comes from, to be like, oh, yeah, she's got some, like, mental issues. Like, she's almost bipolar.
Yeah.
If not actually bipolar.
And I almost hated how, like, crazy she started getting as the movie progressed. Because at first it was like, you know, she was fighting for, like, kind of revenge for some things that had happened. But she got really mad, and then I didn't know to put the word mad to it until she said it. She was like, I'm a little mad, and I was like, that's the best way to describe it, because she was totally, because a mad person, you know, you can't justify their actions, and some of the stuff she ended up doing, you really couldn't justify it, because she was acting crazy.
Well, and that should, like, before we get to like star ratings and everything, I have to ask, what did you think of Emma Stone? Are you a fan in general? What did you think of her performance as Cruella? Because I was like, she's so likable. Mm-hmm. And so going into this, I was like, how are you going to be this terrible person? And she kind of like amps it up a little bit, but I was pretty happy. Where were you at with her?
I think she did great.
Yeah.
So I like Emma Stone a lot. She was beautiful in it. I am predicting it now. Her wearing the black and white wig, that's going to be like a Halloween staple this year.
Oh, totally, yes.
Because she pulled it off so well.
Yeah.
Her and the costumes were wonderful, but then like the way she moved, her posture, that one scene where she was driving the DeVille, because you see that like in the cartoon.
Yeah.
But then whenever she's like hunched over and looking all like crazy driving, I was like, man, that is like perfect.
That's what I want. Yeah.
Or whenever she's like dancing around all the security guards in the party when they're like, I guess she's like fighting them off or whatever. Yeah, yes. She portrayed Cruella perfectly.
Yeah, that combination of her and Emma Thompson, I was just like, this is where the movie really found its stride, and like it played it throughout. Like you said, it was a long movie, and I felt it at certain times where I was like, oh, we're kind of dragging here, but it also kind of felt like it's this long because we have so many great costumes, and we just want to show off all these great costumes and scenery, and like I said, it's set in the 70s in London, so it's a really cool like vibe to the kind of darker tone that the movie has. But I thought it worked a lot better than I expected, and as I mentioned, we're going to do star ratings, and on here we usually do out of 5 stars. So for Cruella, what would you give it?
I'll give it a 4.
Yeah. I guess I had just got my expectations lowered so much by some of the more recent live action Disney animated stuff that they're, that they're making, and especially with like Lion King and Beauty and the Beast and Mulan, we mentioned earlier. I was a little down on these, but this is probably the best one I've seen in a while. I really liked it. I like that it was willing to go a little further. I don't know that it's necessarily like a Disney kids movie.
Yeah, it was pretty dark, but I
Yeah.
think anyone who's a genuine lover of 101 Dalmatians would really appreciate this
Yeah,
movie.
and there are several generations now of people who saw this as a kid and will, because I was fighting with, like, who is this for? Like, where's the audience for this if it's too harsh for young kids or, and what
You
adults?
said it was PG-13.
It is
right?
PG-13, yeah. So it's a little dark, but I think you're right. There's generations of kids who have grown up on it now who enjoy Emma Stone enough to be like, oh yeah, I might check that out. So yeah, you gave it 4. I think I'm gonna go 3.5. I know that's kind of my usual where I kind of settle on movies, but it's really solid, if not a little long and a little unsure of like itself as far as who it's for. But I think we kind of cracked that question. So thank you, because I was really like, when I saw the trailer, I was like, who is this? Who's going to be interested in this? But so I'll be interested to see the rest of the feedback on it. But thank you once again for joining me. I appreciate
thank you for having me.
talking Cruella. And if you're interested in the movie, definitely come see it at the Movie Tavern. Like Cassidy was saying, it's a beautiful movie. Lots of great costumes, settings,
But
and
long,
scenery.
so maybe like bathroom breaks before going into the
Yeah,
movie.
definitely. But it's but worth seeing on a big screen for
Yes.
sure if you have the opportunity near you. So definitely check out the Movie Tavern and check out Cruella at the Movie Tavern, as well as hitting subscribe and the bell with the notifications and all the other YouTube stuff. We try to produce a new review of the latest, biggest release every week. So definitely do that. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Can you wear this?
I can't.
Come on, you can put that around a leg.
Let's...
Just put it high up on the thigh, just let it hanging out of the.
Was it getting it? Was it getting it? It wasn't getting it.
It's like, so I don't really know what to do. Just let it hang out.
So ridiculous.